Alright, it's August 6th, a little bit after 5 p.m. Just dropped one of my boys off at work, and Harris has announced that Tim Walz is going to be her VP choice. He's actually kind of the one I was predicting, that I was thinking. The main reason being, and the beauty of him as a candidate, is he's got nothing that you could construe as baggage. Because Shapiro, Kelly, they don't have scandals, but I think they each have something that, like a viewpoint on the Israel-Palestine issue, both of them have an issue that, not so much a matter of courting the other side, trying to reach independent Republicans, but there's some stuff there that some actual Democrats may have a problem with. And it's funny to me because very similar to the way a lot of Democrats were man, I'm tired. A lot of Democrats were looking at Biden and saying, I don't like the way you handled Israel, so I'm not going to vote for you. And very much a sacrificing the good for the perfect situation there. I don't honestly think I like the way that's been handled either. Just because, I think I've mentioned this before, from a biblical standpoint, yes, being a friend of Israel is a smart, biblical, political move. Here's the thing. When your friend is doing something they shouldn't be doing, you can tell them, hey man, cut it out. Be that guy in the John Hughes movie that tell the friend of the bully that tells the bully, hey man, you're being a jerk, stop it. They're nerds, leave them alone, Or you can be the friend that just keeps handing the person bullets. And we keep handing them bullets. And they're not being responsible with their bullets, from what I can tell. Hamas may be hiding behind schools and hospitals. But that doesn't mean you need to indiscriminately bomb said schools and hospitals. Because it's real obvious. I know in times of war this would be called collateral damage. But we're talking about Israel versus Palestinians. To them it's not even collateral damage, I'm willing to bet. Because they don't want them there either. So, oh, did they get in the way of the bombs? Oh, sorry. Come on. We need to stop handing them bullets. What's going on over there is just not okay. I wish more countries would actually stand up and go, yo, enough. But I don't see that happening. But yeah, cause I think it was Shapiro had said or done something. It might have been Kelly that had an opinion that was popular with some and unpopular with others. I mean, a lot of the other candidates, again, I know I went on and on about this the other night. Mayor Pete being, gay. Most of your Democrats aren't going to have a problem with that, but if you're trying to reach independents and your red meat Republicans, voting for a woman and a gay man, no. Zeke and Bubba Joe will never, ever check that box. And you know what? They're probably not going to check any box that isn't red for the next 20 years. So, maybe they're beyond reaching anyway. But yeah, no, I kind of had a hunch it was going to be Tim Walz, just because from what I can tell, he's got no baggage anywhere that even Democrats could really have a problem with. And he had a great interview the other day where I guess he got called weird or radical, and he went on this brilliantly wonderful rant, very sarcastic and fun. He won points with me on that, where he said, "Yep, that's right. The kids at my schools get free lunch," and he went on this big list of very progressive kind of things that he has in place. It's easier for my citizens to get Medicare and Medicaid. Just boom, 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 boom. So yeah, I guess if that's radical, then I'm a complete weirdo. It was kind of that kind of conversation. He said it with a smile on his face. He actually reminded me of an old friend of mine, sales guy that I worked with named Larry, who, Christian, just the person that you meet, and 5 minutes after you've left the room that they were in, you go, "That's a really nice guy." But yeah, no, I got that feeling watching the interview. After the interview was over, I was like, this is a really nice guy. I guess he's the governor of Minnesota. I hadn't heard of him until 2 months ago when all this started. This hullabaloo started. Yeah, no, he's solid. Get him in front of the camera. And he's got that grandfather charm to him. But he's not 81 and showing signs of cognitive decline. So, that's something. I'm still impressed with Biden. He's doing, I guess somebody said something to him about being a lame duck president, and he bristled. He didn't like that term. But realistically, he's kind of a lame duck president now, which is liberating. It's possible that his actions could affect Harris, but probably not. As far as her campaigning, he has tremendous possibility right now, because he doesn't have to win votes or impress anybody. So he can just go for the throat as far as some of the things that he's trying to get done, which is pretty cool. I know he's working on some student loan stuff, and Pix and me, our student loans got forgiven last year, which is great, because we actually did get involved with a predatory college 20 years ago. It was one of those kind of mills where you pretty much buy your diploma. We were there for about 1.5 to 2 years, and the deeper we dug into what the school was all about, they were accredited, but the accreditation was only considered valid within their circle of schools, their organization. Other colleges and whatnot, the credits weren't transferable because other colleges didn't consider them a real college. And we had racked up $25,000, $30,000 in debt between the two of us. And we paid some of it off, and interest kept getting stacked on top, to where when it was forgiven, it was, I think, like $38,000. Because we had actually brought it down to like $20,000, but over 20 years it had almost doubled because of the interest rates. So when you hear people say, you need to take responsibility for your actions, and I know that's mostly like silent generation and boomers, because they're not in the mix and don't actually have a clue. They're just throwing out those talking points they hear on, OAN and Newsmax and Fox and all that. The system is designed to bend you over. It's designed that way. And I'm curious what shenanigans got put in place during the Trump administration, simply because I know some people are going to be like, oh, you're being conspiracy theorist. Betsy DeVos, who was the Secretary of Education, she she's definitely qualified in that she knows a lot about the education system, because her family fortune, from my understanding, was pretty much made on publishing of textbooks and printed goods, and also they've dabbled in the student loan industry as well. So let's keep it real. The orange guy is really fond of keeping grifters in his circle, because that's what he is. So I'm curious in what ways DeVos did things to game the system while she was running the Department of Education. I know she did some charter school shenanigans, but I don't know what other damage she did while she was there, because frankly, of a feather, she did some damage while she was there. That's who these people are. But I don't know what she did, but I know in my heart and my soul, I know she did it. I know she did some stuff. Yeah, I was having a discussion the other day. Oh, health-wise, feeling good. 2 cigars. I'm in week 6 of the Wellbutrin, I think. Something like that. So I'm hopeful that, again, magically in the 7th week, it'll just go away. I don't know. I'm trying, but I've been doing 18, 20-hour days because Kelly's sick. I'm pretty sure I've made a couple gallons of soup over the past few days. Tiny and I are not sick, and so far we're the only ones that haven't been. Although the back of my throat feels a little scratchy. I don't know if that's because I've been up for 20 hours a day, 4 days in a row, or if I'm fighting off whatever it is that's been plaguing them. I don't know. But I got into a discussion, and it was a nice discussion. It wasn't a discussion. With somebody the other day about whether or not Trump was ordained by God. It was with the Olympic chatter. There was that Lord's Supper thing that blew up, which it was because I saw thanks to the magic of YouTube, I saw what they were referring to, and it was very clearly a representation of the Greek gods. It was not a Lord's Supper parody. But I can see where people who are not educated would jump to that conclusion. You like that little dig there? But yeah, she and I got on the discussion of whether or not Trump was ordained by God. And here is my take on it. Accept it, don't accept it, I don't care. This is my opinion. I do think that Trump was allowed to happen because he did. And I absolutely will not ever compare him to the Christ. Nope. Biblically speaking, though, I will compare him to King Saul. And I don't know if I've gone under this rant or not before. If I have, I apologize. I've been doing these for, I think, a couple months now, or a month, or whatever, and I'm sure I repeat myself every now and then. Not to the extent that my dad does, but I'm sure that I do. So the Israelites saw, this is back in the old days, the Israelites saw that all the other countries, all the other nations had kings, and they said, we want a king. So they went to Samuel, who was the prophet. Basically, he's the guy that's got God's ear. And they said, Samuel, we want a king. And Samuel was like, okay, I'll tell the big guy, but we don't really need one. They were like, no, but we want one. All right, I'll let him know. So God said, okay, you guys want a king? And he had them gather a whole bunch of the eligible candidates together. And Samuel was going to pick the guy because God was going to tell him, hey, this is the one you want. So God did. God said, that guy right there. And Samuel said, that guy? And God said, no, not that guy, the guy next to him. That guy? No, not that guy, the guy next to him. So Samuel's pointing at this guy, and he's 6'3" and 240 pounds. The orange guy's a fat toad. He's not anywhere near as svelte as those physicals are pretending he is. But that's beside the point. It's part of the grift, baby. So they pull out this guy named Saul, and he's handsome, and he's tall, and he's rugged and muscular, and all the people are going, woo, he's perfect. And God's saying, yeah, he's gorgeous. That's not the guy. The scrawny guy next to him. And Samuel's like, that kid doesn't look like a king. This looks like a king right here. This guy's a king. And I in my twisted brain, I expect God said something like, "Oy vey." So they made Saul their king. Now, the kid standing next to him was David. Now, please understand, Hillary Clinton is no David. However, God let us take King Saul for a ride. Saul, if you've done your Old Testament stuff, Saul was not exactly the best leader that Israel could have had. Yeah. But God allowed it. That's that free will thing. He will let us choose our own mistakes. Sure. You can. You shouldn't, but you can. So yeah. Yeah, I've seen some Lord's Supper things with Trump, and it's like, I'm not normally one to yell blasphemy, but that's one that the only time he's ever had a Bible in his hand was for a photo op. Give me a break, guys. If you think he's some incredibly faithful Christian, look at his deeds. I don't mean proof of property ownership, I mean his actions. There is nothing Christ-like about this man. Nope. I don't think he's the Antichrist. If he wins this election, then I'm going to start to question that. Because at that point, maybe we are heading towards that 7-year countdown. You know what I mean? Maybe him taking over is the catalyst because he is the big AC. I don't know. So far, I'm not wearing my tinfoil hat on that. I'm hoping he's just a blip on the stupid choices by Americans radar. Anyway, I'm gonna get going. I'm gonna go to, I think, Aldi and pick up some more supplies to make some chicken noodle soup. Picking up some low sodium chicken broth, and I already hard fried some chicken yesterday, making my own. It's the canned stuff. Number one, you never get the quantity you want. Number two, it's typically full of crap you don't necessarily need, and it's just not as good as homemade. So, anyway, now that traffic has died down a little bit, it's not right at 5 o'clock, I'm going to skedaddle. I will talk to you later. Make it a great day.